What is up, everybody? Welcome to the All Punked Up podcast. I'm Tyler Winters. John Pierman is here, and another terrific show about to hit your ears. John Burke, this is going to be the last episode of the year.
Just this year.
We're going to go out with a bang, I feel like. Maybe. I don't know. Guess I'm putting the pressure on a little early, but...
No, we're gonna bang everybody.
Yep, banging it out, baby.
I'm going to bang all over.
So for this episode, we got a few news topics we want to discuss, some interesting stuff that came about this week, but also we're going to round out the episode with our best ofs of 2023. So we got Album of the Year, Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, EP of the Year. I don't think we did that last year. And then albums we're most looking forward to in 2024. So, John, real quick, I didn't have this on the list of things to talk about.
Don't drop this shit on me.
We did have a good year this year. We had a number of interviews this year. We don't have to go over who our favorites were, but was there any standout interview that you liked this year? We had, let me find it real quick while you're looking or thinking.
I feel like the Happy Days interview went really well. I enjoyed it.
It did. So we talked to Tom Kiger from Houston Calls twice this year. We had Mod Sun on. We had Bob Becker from Thriller Records on early in the year. We had Lovely the Band's Mitchie Collins. Cassidy Pope, which she was just a pleasure to talk with. Beauty School Dropout, and Taylor Acorn. So you thought, and Happy Days. That was our most recent one. So, yeah, I thought the Happy Days one went really well. That one was a fun one, too, because we kind of just talked about different stuff than we normally talk about. Like, it was pretty free-flowing. That was
Cassidy's interview was good, too.
Cassidy's went a lot... Not to say that I don't ever think the interviews are going to go good, but I just felt like that interview went way better than I thought it would. I think after talking to her after she left, we kind of talked afterwards, and it seems like she could be like we could hang out with her, and like she would fit really well with our friend group and that sort of thing.
Sure.
Like she just so down to earth, so nice, so sweet. Just an awesome person and artist. So that was fun.
She copped to farting too, so that's really important.
Yeah, right. And that's why
it's a good entryway into our hearts.
Yeah. And that's why we think that she would work so well in our friend group. I will say too, getting Mod Sun, for me, that was a big get. I had tried to get Mod Sun on for, I don't know, a couple years maybe, or maybe a year before he finally got on. And there were times where it was scheduled, it was ready to go, and then things just fell through because maybe a tour happened, a show happened, or whatever, and it would just, the timing was just off. So that was really cool. And one of the cool things about the Mod Sun interview, which it was the very last interview before him and Avril split. So thought that was interesting because, when I was talking to him, he was in, I don't know what room he was in. Maybe it was a bedroom or whatever, but you could see Avril's plaques in the background and stuff like that. So, which was really cool.
There's a possibility she was cheating on him the exact moment that you were giving the interview.
That's true. But yeah.
So you were like an alibi.
Yeah, I guess so.
She pushed him to do the interview.
So she can go out for an hour.
For some strange.
Okay. But yeah, definitely a fun group of interviews we did this year. So John, thanks for doing those with me, and thank you for all the artists that came on. Also, I want to say Taylor Acorn, that was a real fun one for me to do too. That one, she's also a pleasure to talk to. So
it's best that I sat that one out. Would have had a lot of squirrel puns.
Yes,
things of that nature. So yeah,
I'm sure she's
probably heard them
that.
all.
Yeah, and I think I ended up talking about her abs. So I don't know how you probably would have yelled at me to like, Tyler, why?
Tone it down there.
Yeah, so maybe you should have attended that one. But nonetheless, we did have a great group of interviews this year. 2024, I'm hoping for even more greater interviews than 2023. So, John, also before we get into the news, I think we should...
we're going after Trump next year. We're going to try to get Trump on the podcast. That's what we're trying to say.
That would be really awesome if we could. I wonder what kind of music he's into. He's probably like the classic rock right? Like what we consider classic rock.
I don't know that he listens to music. I don't know.
But yeah, maybe we'll get Trump 2024.
He doesn't seem to have any rhythm.
No, none. But it would be fun to hear him just bullshit some questions that we ask, you know?
I'd like to corner him on some things, yeah.
Yeah. So let's fill the listeners in on some news. So John and I have been talking for the last couple months. I've been letting the All Punked Up team kind of know what we're thinking. So All Punked Up's been going on since 2016. And it's just, I've figured it's just time to do something new, okay? So we've been doing this thing for 7 years now. And it's time for this to be more... I feel like it's time for this to be more than just like a passion project. I really want to start taking things more serious, bringing in some money, that sort of thing. I can't keep doing this stuff for free. It is expensive to do. So, you know, it is time to start thinking monetarily about this strongly.
Right-wing pandering.
Yes.
That's what we're going to be doing.
Which is why we're trying to get Trump on next year.
Yep.
But so I want to fill you guys in. So here's what we're thinking. There's going to be, so All Punked Up is going to be, there's going to be some type of restructuring going on. So, and I am, to be honest, a little nervous about this, but I'm
in
thought
charge
about
now,
this.
bitch.
John is in charge. He's got the wheel.
Yep.
He's going to steer us in the right direction.
Right into an abutment.
So first of all, one of the first things I thought about, and I've been thinking about for a long time, maybe the last year, is changing the name of the podcast. So right now it's the All Punked Up Podcast. And my reason for wanting to change the name is I feel like we've kind of pigeonholed ourselves into the punk, term, right? Obviously, you guys know that encompasses emo, pop punk, alternative rock. But I feel like when I've tried to go out for certain interviews, I don't want the term punk to not necessarily scare off an interview, but I don't want it to prevent someone from coming on that might say, well, I'm not punk. This doesn't make sense.
Well, neither are we.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's ever happened. I'm sure it has, to where they may feel like it's not a right fit for them. And I don't want that to be the case. And to be honest, I also, John and I don't just love pop punk. We don't just love emo and alternative rock. We like all music.
Well, and not all.
We talk about music news, and there's times where we talk about, the music industry. But there might be some news bits that I want to share that I think are relevant to the music industry, but may not necessarily fit the emo, pop punk, alternative genres. And I want to be able to talk about those things and,
I think we'd like to talk about movies and music and comedy and movies and things of that sort too. So it'd be nice to have that opportunity to kind of branch out that way.
Yeah, and as it relates to music. So first of all, there's going to be a little shift in the podcast. I don't think it's going to be a great big shift. So if you like our show, just continue listening. It's going to be pretty much the exact same. But the main thing is it's kind of like a branding thing. So I want somebody who comes across our podcast, like, for instance, I personally do not like punk music. I don't like punk music. I like pop punk music. I don't like punk music. If I saw the title, the All Punked Up Podcast, in, as I'm looking for a new music podcast, I would scroll past it. I'm not going to check it out.
Jeez.
So that's the whole reason for that. And
Harsh.
I want people to at least be able to see a name and be like, oh, that makes sense. Maybe I'll like this, and just check us out. So that's the reasoning. The All Punked Up brand is not going away, but the All Punked Up podcast name will be changing. John and I have an idea, but we're not ready to release that name just yet. But we will keep you posted. So I want you guys to know sometime next year, early next year, the podcast is going to change names. But it's going to be pretty much the exact same format. We're still going to talk about emo, pop punk, alternative music. But don't be surprised if we throw in a little, maybe some news about country music, if it makes sense, okay? Don't be surprised about certain interviews that we might get. We might get, who knows, we might get a comedian on here. But we're going to talk about music with that comedian as well. So just be open-minded about it. You got to trust me on this. I'm going to go ahead and let the people know what my name suggestion was. I don't know that we're going to go with it.
Okay. But the new podcast name is going to be the Big Dick Boys. Oh, so I feel like that's really going to grab
BDB.
Yeah. Then Big Dick Boys.
Yeah. And then we're also going to have a Big Dick Boys Club. So
that's right. Do you want to be in the Big Dick Boys Club?
Then you have to pay. Because remember, this is about a monetary thing for us.
You're going to have to show us first.
Yeah.
If you want
first
in.
of all, there's payment, and you have to send a dick pic to John. He'll be the
well,
one.
I mean, we have to know that it's you. We don't want any of that fake stuff.
Yeah, so definitely your face has to show.
Tyler has scoured the internet. He knows what all those fake pictures are.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to get it by him.
Nope. So yeah.
You're not slipping that big dick past him.
Or in him.
God.
I didn't. That was unnecessary. I'm sorry.
I'll just cut that whole segment out.
So the All Punked Up podcast name is going to change.
Not to the Big Dick Boys.
In the coming weeks. So just be prepared for that.
I like them Big Dick Boys, though, better than just
them
the big...
or dem.
Dem.
Well, you almost don't want dem because you don't want them to think that we're totally left-leaning.
Oh, yeah.
So,
anyways. We have a donkey as our symbol.
Yeah.
With a big dick.
It's really just a fifth leg, but, Anyways. So, also, another thing with the whole restructuring, allpunkedup.com. Okay? Right now, it's a news site. If you've visited the news site within the last few months, you've seen that we don't really post a lot of news there as much as we used to. So, again, remember I said I want to start thinking monetarily about this brand. Here's what I'm thinking. The allpunkedup.com, I'm just going to be quick here. The allpunkedup.com site is going to become the allpunkedup.com store. I'm thinking of still kind of keeping some type of blog format on there. So, like, if we do any written interviews, if we do any type of reviews, those will go there. I think because that'll still be relevant. But the allpunkedup.com store, I think, is going to be kind of like the T-shirts that you see now on the shop.allpunkedup.com store. And we're going to kind of lean into that and have more music-related type T-shirts. And where I see a trend, you might see something kind of related to that trend in the rock music, pop punk, emo, maybe even country music type area. So definitely be on the lookout for that. So the allpunkedup.com site is going to change just to a store. We'll still post interviews, reviews, that sort of thing on there, but it's not going to be all newsy type stuff anymore. So what about the All Punked Up socials? The All Punked Up socials will still remain the same. We're going to push the store items, but we'll also, I think, post news on those, okay? But instead of like all the other publications like that kind of tease you with a headline to get you to click to read the article, I'm going to put as much information as I can in those posts to save you a click, okay? Mm-hmm. And this is going to be, what I want to do is I want All Punked Up, the socials, to create a community, okay? So I'm going to post the news there. There's not going to be any click, no link in bio or any bullshit like that. Let's just talk. Let's just talk about the news that we post there. Our
posts are going to look like Fall Out Boy song titles. That's
yes.
Thorough they're going to be.
Yes, absolutely. So there's that. So just kind of want to let you guys know that's our thinking. That's where we're at right now. So things will be changing. This is all news to me. I
haven't heard any of this. So.
Oh, maybe I was texting the wrong person.
Really just
sorry.
Dropped a bomb on me.
Okay, so we're already like 15 minutes in, John. So
I feel like you poo-pooed Big Dick Boys.
Well, it's up there still. I have that written down as one of my favorites. So
it's in the top 37 names.
Hey, and if you guys have any ideas for a podcast name, let us know. We may not.
If you're just...
I'm confident in the one that we were talking about yesterday as being the one, but I'm still open-minded.
Just let us know. Hey, I'm up for some Big Dick Boy.
Yes. Oh, boy. Okay. So,
it's gonna catch on like wildfire.
John, let's go ahead and get into some news before we do our best ofs. So, John.
Let's send the wrong message.
So this was an interesting article this week. And it comes from the country world, but it is worth noting because it is music related, merch music related. So Luke Combs, he's a country star. He's on the rise. He accidentally sued a fan for $250,000. But now he's apologizing and sending her thousands. So this is such a weird story. And Billboard's got this one. So they go on and say, Luke Combs apologized Wednesday after he accidentally sued one of his fans in federal court and won a $250,000 judgment against her, saying she had been caught up in a lawsuit aimed at illegal businesses and that she was never supposed to be involved. The apology came a day after news broke that lawyers representing the country star had sued a woman named Nicole for selling Combs-themed mugs on Amazon. Okay. Nicole Harness, who suffers from congestive heart failure, sold only 18 tumblers for a total of $380, but was ordered to pay a whopping $250,000 in damages for infringing Combs's intellectual property, all before she ever realized she had ever been sued. I guess in an Instagram post, Combs said he had just learned about the situation and it makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. He said he had already contacted the individual directly and apologized for the incident. He said, I spent the last 2 hours trying to make this right and figure out what's going on because I was completely and utterly unaware of this. He says, we do have a company that goes after folks, only supposedly large corporations operating internationally that make millions and millions of dollars making counterfeit T-shirts, things of that nature, running illegal businesses. Apparently this woman, Nicole, has somehow gotten wrapped up into that. Anyways, so Luke Combs was trying to make this right because she only made $380 off of this. Now, it says that they're Luke Combs themed mugs, but it doesn't say that she was copying any
lyric or album
not necessarily
title
lyric or any type of image or T-shirt or design or anything like that. So I thought that this was interesting to bring up, and I like that he's doing this. Actually, All Punked Up, like a couple years ago, I got wrapped up into something similar. It wasn't for any merchandise or anything, but I guess I had used a photo that I didn't have permission for, and on a post, and it was like, at this point, it was like a 3-year-old article, and this company mailed me a letter saying that they're suing me for over $3,000 for the use of this image. So I had to get a lawyer involved, and we had to settle and all that stuff. Which, can I just say real quick, the whole thing was pretty bullshit. I know I was in the wrong for using an image that I didn't have permission for. And look, I'm all for creators, and I love you photographers out there. But none of you photographers out there, none of your images are worth $3,000. So it was just like, I don't know, it was kind of an eye-opening experience. And even what I had to end up paying, your images are still not worth that much. Yeah,
now he's going to sue you for libel and slander.
I'm
or she, he or she.
But I don't think it was actually the photographer that was suing me. I think it was sort of like what Luke Combs said. They have these companies that go out and they probably thought All Punked Up was a big brand, but All Punked Up is a small brand. And
can't sue us if the name changes.
That's true. So I did have some All Punked Up money, thank goodness, at the time, but it kind of sucked. There was. There was when I had the store when we got sued, so I definitely had some money then, but...
It's just like we were in the band. We had money and then it's just gone.
Yeah, and then it's just gone.
You guys would use it for date night.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. All right, John. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's not really accidental if you have a company out there looking to sue people.
Right. But he said that they're supposed to go after large corporations, which that is pretty shitty. I mean, I feel like if you're selling Luke Combs themed mugs, who cares? If she's copying a design, then yeah, I can see it. But if if it's Luke Combs themed, like if you're putting a lyric on there,
they just want to pick on the little guy,
guy, yeah. So, but it sounds like he's at least trying to make it right. Yeah,
they're combing through Etsy, looking for Luke Combs merchandise, making goddamn tumblers. There's got to be some money in just being the company that makes the tumblers that people.
Oh yeah,
put
absolutely.
Shit on.
Yep,
we need
absolutely.
it. We need All Punked Up needs to become a tumbler brand.
Hey, we could just start selling tumblers. We'll do the.
I don't want to go. I don't want to be at the. I don't want to do it.
No. Okay.
I just want to make the tumblers.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about making tumblers. Is that like ceramic, glass,
plastics are
involved,
yeah. They're insulated somehow.
Maybe we could get a 3D printer.
Yeah, that's a start.
Yeah, probably takes like 2 days to make one mug.
Probably have to have some sort of building to assemble.
I'm sure there's
distribution. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, we're done. I think we should just hold up now.
Just the thought of putting any work into something else.
Yeah, right.
It's like any time I think about playing music again, I remember lifting stuff, and I'm like, nope.
That's your only reason for not wanting to play music.
I don't want to lift. I picture myself lifting an amp and stairs, and I'm like, yep.
Hey, didn't the last band we see play? It was kind of like a local type band. They didn't have any amps on stage? I don't think. I think they were.
Yeah, they're doing the blank thing where you don't have amps and you just magically sound great every time.
Maybe we could do that. I know nothing about it, but maybe we could do that.
There's still a lot of wires and shit. I don't know.
All right, John. So the next bit of news, it's about Kid Rock. You love talking about Kid Rock.
Oh my God, I've been a Kid Rock fan since about '98.
Oh yeah, Devil Without a Cause, right?
Yeah, going platinum.
Anyways, he's in the news again.
I still honor Josie's death every year.
Do you?
Yeah, I light a large amount of candles.
March 23rd, 99.
No, I think it was in 2000s.
We're gonna look it up right now.
Josie, 2002. It was after 9. It was definitely after 9/11. Because I remember 9/11 was really sad, but when Josie died.
How do you spell Josie?
Just Joe and then a C, I think. Just put little person or whatever the correct term is. Dwarf. I think dwarf's appropriate.
It was November 16th, 2000.
Oh, wow. It was before 9/11.
Yep.
Oh, maybe that's why 9/11 didn't sting as bad, because I'd gone through that already.
That's why. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Anyways, let's talk about Kid Rock, John, because everybody remembers the backlash from Bud Light, when they put a transgendered person on their can. Kid Rock had a big problem with it and basically took an AR-15 or whatever to one of the cans and blew its guts out. But now it seems like Kid Rock
there was a second shooter in that video, I determined.
Is that right?
Yeah. It wasn't just him.
I feel like his gun had an orange tip to it. So, I don't know. Those are the ones
for safety.
Yeah. So the whole gun must have been plastic. But anyways.
That's crazy. I used to have guns like that looked like rifles, but they'd have those orange tips in them.
Yep.
It's like, hey, I'm shooting you, but not really.
Yeah. Well, the orange tips are to indicate that it's not a real gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kid Rock is supposedly supporting Bud Light again after he boycotted them. They all come back. And I love his reasoning for it. So, again, Billboard's got this one. They said, Kid Rock has decided to support Bud Light again 8 months after his transphobic response to trans activist Dylan Mulvaney teaming up with Anheuser-Busch to promote the brand's Easy Carry contest. He said, at the end of the day, when you step back and look at it, they deserved a black eye, and they got one. They made a mistake. And this is him talking to Tucker Carlson. He goes on to say, so do I want to hold their head underwater and drown them because they made a mistake? No. I think
not if they're going to pay me.
Right, exactly. He goes, hopefully other companies get it too, but at the end of the day, I don't think the punishment that they've been getting at this point fits the crime. I would like to see us back on board and become bigger because that's the America that I want to live in. There's nothing wrong with giving a spanking. You don't spank them for the rest of their life. So, very interesting.
What if this was some sort of elaborate plan to get a sponsorship? Like, I'll go after them hard and they'll have to come back at me.
Right. Well, And he does say, even though he goes, I would like to see us back on board and become bigger. Us. Because that's the America that I want to live in. So what is us? Is that him and Anheuser-Busch? It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case.
By the way, Anheuser-Busch is a German-owned company, so I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true. It is. That deal happened not that long ago, maybe like 10 years ago or something, I feel like.
Yeah, it was within the last 10, 15 years.
But
it was controversial when it happened. So
it was, yep. I remember that.
Yeah, but nobody was shooting up cases of beer.
No. I think the whole thing about this is funny anyway, and of course I gotta be careful on what I say here so nothing's taken out of context. But I think people getting mad over the whole thing to begin with is just silly. But at the same time, I also think it's silly that Bud Light thinks that they even need to put anybody on the can. Like, do you think it's really going to increase sales by putting a certain somebody on your cans? Like, if Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s on there, I don't care. I'm just going to drink Bud Light because it's maybe one of the better tolerable generic beers that I like. But I can't see it really moving the needle. I just don't see why Bud Light, or any type of drink rather, needs to even play this game of putting anybody on their cans. Just release the beer. It's just beer.
It's all pandering.
It is all pandering, and it's just so obvious. It's like, be genuine about it. That's how I feel. Don't pander.
Yeah, just come out and say it, Kid Rock. I'm a whore.
Yeah, exactly.
Suckling at the teat.
Yeah.
Of giant corporations.
Uh-huh.
I'm a little whore. Just come out and say that.
Yeah. But it won't surprise me if Kid Rock ends up being on the can. That would actually be hilarious if he ends up being the one that ends up on the can. And then Bud Light's just going to get grilled from another demographic.
I wanted to say something so terrible. I'm just not going to say it.
So, John, there's a level of uncertainty for Paramore's future, it looks like. So, Loudwire writes, Paramore likely caused more than a few skipped heartbeats and raised eyebrows amongst their fan base, but also proved why it's important to read full stories to the end. The band posted on their Instagram stories a comment that suggested that their label obligations had been completed and that all three members agreed there's a level of uncertainty about their future. Now, if they, at the time, if they were suggesting that their label obligations had been completed, obviously that doesn't necessarily mean, don't jump to that the band is going to break up. Maybe this just means that, and me and you talked about this prior to recording, that maybe they just don't know what label they're going to be on. They're currently on Atlantic Records. Maybe there's some negotiations that need to take place. Who knows? But apparently the full comment read, now that Paramore has spent the year touring behind This Is Why and making sure to take better care of themselves while they're at it, a chapter of the band's career has come to a close. They've now fulfilled all label obligations and are effectively free agents. As for the future of Paramore, all three members agreed that there's a level of uncertainty. So that's what got people a little bit uneasy, any Paramore fans uneasy.
Up in arms even.
Right. But Loudwire goes on to say, but it should be noted that their Instagram stories also featured a link to a UProx interview they recently granted, and when pulling up the post, it used the same typography as their posted comment. Reading through the end of the interview, it's then realized that the excerpted portion posted to their Instagram stories was only just a portion of the story. Says, once again, as for the future of Paramore, all three members agreed that there's a level of uncertainty, is the excerpted part. But the thought continues. But one thing's for sure, they're still going to be together, and they're still going to keep having fun. The only thing that matters is we will still get to be each other's community. William says, Farrow agrees, I just hope we can keep building the Paramore empire and then rule the world. And wherever they end up, the massive community of fans Paramore has cultivated will be there for them, too. So, we don't know what's going to happen with Paramore, but it sounds like they are going to continue on in some way. I would think, too, if anything should raise eyebrows at any point of Paramore breaking up, it's when they release a greatest hits album, or they're talking about a greatest hits album, I think. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's any talk of that. I don't even know if there is one. I doubt there is one. But
no, I mean, I think it's popular speculation that like she'll go solo on. I feel like that's been bandied about.
And she's done solo stuff though. Yeah. Like she just did. I think she had a solo EP right before the "This Is Why" came out, and it was fine. It was more of I want to say like a Lana Del Rey type vibe. So it wasn't like Paramore at all. And she's good enough, and she's got the name to go solo and be successful at it. So we'll see. I think Paramore fans should be rest assured that the band is probably most likely going to continue on. They just reunited in a way. So I think they're here for a while. I think it's just going to come down to a level of uncertainty because they don't know what label they're going to be on. Is Atlantic going to pick them back up, or are they going to go to somebody else? So we'll see. I'm not even sure how well album sales were for This Is Why, so that might have an effect on any negotiations too. So we'll see. All right, John.
2024 will tell us.
2024 will tell us for sure. All right, John, let's get into our best ofs. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Song of the Year?
Let's do EP of the Year.
Okay, EP of the Year. That's fair.
That's the newest category.
All right. I don't really have a lot. I don't have anything written down besides the one that I'm going to give the award to.
All right. I wonder if it's the same.
I don't know. Who do you got? Or do you want me to go? You want me to say?
I went with Happy Days, Full Free Radical. Even though it's listed as an album, it's only 24 minutes long and it's 7 songs, so it's an EP.
Yeah, that would be an EP for sure.
So I went with that. It was really strong. Didn't really dig into it until we were about to interview him, and really enjoyed it. So
yeah,
that was the only EP that really grabbed me this year, so it wins.
Nice. Yeah, that is a very solid EP. I really, really like that one as well. But I feel like for EP of the Year, I have to go with Yellow Card's Childhood Eyes because Yellow Card reunited. And when Bailey and I talked to Ryan Key of Yellow Card, a couple years ago, like, there was no indication. Like, if you we basically asked him about a reunion, or maybe we didn't ask him, but it was so implied that there was no chance of a Yellow Card reunion ever happening based on what he was saying in how he was answering other questions. And then it just happened. Yellow Card reunites. How awesome, going on tours, and then they have new music. So I think this one kind of, for EP, kind of has the same effect, almost the same effect as Blink-182's new album, One More Time, and the reunion and all that. So I'm going to go Childhood Eyes. It's not like I dug every single song on that EP, but I think just kind of the magnitude of that EP being released with the reunion, I think that's why I give it the top spot for me.
It's understandable.
Yeah. All right, you want to do Song of the Year?
Sure.
All right.
I'll let you go first this time, though.
Okay. So this one was tough for me. So, like, I didn't know if how I should give this because Spotify Wrapped told me the top 5 songs that I listened to, and I feel like that would be a good indicator of, maybe that number 1 song should be the number 1 song of the year for me. But which War by Story of the Year was my top song of 2023. But if I'm going to give a Song of the Year award to a song, one song I kept going back to is Pierce the Veil's Even When I'm Not With You. It was off their new album, The Jaws of Life. It's just so... I don't know if you even heard it, John. I should send it to you, but I just love the vibe of it. And it's like a guitar riff. It's like the same guitar riff throughout the whole song. And I don't know. It's just the guy's voice over the guitar riff, just the vibe it gives off. I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. It was actually, when I go to my top songs of 2023 list on Spotify. It comes in at number 7. So I listen to it a lot, and I know I added it to a few playlists. So I'm going to have to give Pierce the Veils, Even When I'm Not With You, the song of the year of 2023. I love it.
Yeah, I have 3 for this, so I have a top 3.
Okay.
Yeah, number 3, I'd have to say Not Strong. It's not genre specific, but Not Strong Enough by Boy Genius, I think, is one of the strongest.
Okay.
Like all around songs of the year. And
was that
it's probably
that was off their EP that we discussed?
No, the album from Boy Genius.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I think that's probably going to win a Grammy for Song of the Year.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
Wouldn't surprise
me. Genre specific, Blink Wave is my number 2.
Okay.
From
Blink Wave
from the new album. Really dig that song. It's one of the few that I actually go back and listen to quite a bit from the new record. As we've talked about how I feel about the new record quite a bit.
Yep.
And then my number 1 song is Shh, Golf Is On.
Okay.
From Hot Mulligan. I think it's... it was my number 1 song of the year on Spotify. And it's just... The more I listen to it and kind of examine like the structure of it, it's really cool. The songwriting's cool. Like the first verse goes right into a chorus, and then it kind of does like a bridgy kind of second verse, but the verse is written in the voice of someone else, so it kind of gives this like dreamlike trance kind of feel to it because it's speaking from somebody else's point of view, and it's really cool. It's a good song.
Nice. Okay.
God damn it, it's number 1.
And it was a solid release of theirs this year. I will definitely say that.
And then Outside Looking In is probably Smacked My Head Off, or Ow, or however they say it.
Yeah.
Another Hot Mulligan song that's about probably a grandparent with dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that.
Gotcha.
Very serious topic, but it's well done also.
Sure. Did I ever send you that Pierce the Veil song, Even When I'm Not With You?
I don't know.
Look it up.
I'll know it when I hear it, but
I'm curious to know what you think of that song. It's just like, it's such a simple like melody, and the chorus is so strong. I love how he rhymes the word, like the lyrical rhyming is good. It's just an earworm of a song, and I think it was just done so well. And it's a little slower, so I feel like slower songs typically stay with us a little bit better than faster songs do, because I think you have more time, more room to digest that song as you're listening to it. So that's where I'm at. Song of the year. Okay, so Song of the Year is done. EP of the Year is done. Let's do Artist of the Year. So I'll go first, if that's okay, because I think though if we're doing like Artist of the Year for like all genres, like it's obvious that it's Taylor Swift. Like even Taylor Swift was mentioned 1,000 times on this podcast this year. But I think we need to stay, scene specific here. So Taylor Swift can't win the All Pumped Up Artist of the Year award. But I think it's obvious. I think it has to go to Blink-182. Not only did they reunite in 2022, but we finally get the album. We finally get the tour in 2023. They made so much noise. There was just so much excitement around this band and in the scene. I think it has to go to Blink. It just has to. So Blink-182 is my Artist of the Year for 2023.
Oh, it's Hot Moly.
Look out.
They're going to be sweeping some awards this year. I think a step forward, to not be disappointed with the record, and for it to be a step forward and better. And I think the streaming numbers are up for them. I think they're going to continue to gain some traction and popularity, as predicted last year.
Yep. And yeah, they are definitely carving out a nice little spot for themselves in the scene, and somewhat becoming leaders, I'd say, in the scene. Everybody, because remember, we had that one episode where I'm like, is Hot Mulligan overrated? Or was it overrated or underrated? I can't remember. But we were talking about I brought up the fact that like literally everybody seems to like it. Like Reddit is filled with Hot Mulligan fans, and I just didn't get it. But then I forced myself to kind of really listen, be non-judgmental, to be very objective while listening to it, to their album. And then I listened to some live performances of theirs, and I gave them a fair chance, which I don't think I had given them a fair chance before because they're not necessarily my style of music, but definitely grew to appreciate what they're doing and what they're doing. I mean, they're doing something special, and like I said, I think they're carving a nice little spot out, and I think you're right. They're doing something, and next year might, hold a lot of surprises for them. So we'll see.
Yeah, to me, lyrically, the more I dug in lyrically to the new record too, it's just okay. They're growing that way too.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm starting to appreciate. Not to say that I've never appreciated lyrical content before, but I usually notice lyrics. They're more of a secondary thing when listening to music. I'm more of like a melody guy. But I found myself this year really paying more attention to lyrics lately. So I will agree. Their lyrical writing is on point for sure. Very, very good. All right, John, let's go to Album of the Year. I feel like I already know who you're going to pick.
That's correct. Do we even need to say it?
Well, go ahead and just say it.
Oh, we're going with Why Would I Watch from Hot
Mulligan. Yeah. Definitely, that album grew on me. I did end up liking it, and actually Hot Mulligan ended up being one of my top scene bands, I think. Even though they don't really play the style of music that I really like. There's just something about them that I appreciate now.
But despite that, I feel like there's a huge pop element to what they do. I mean, their songs are generally pretty hook-laden. Mm-hmm. And the song about the dog, well, if you've ever most people have lost a pet, so that's a really emotional song too.
I'll have to re-listen to that one. What's it called? Which one?
Betty.
Okay, I'll have to re-listen to that one. I don't know why I would put myself through that, but
if you've just lost a pet recently, don't listen to it. But,
okay. Well, it's been a year and a half, so I think I could deal with it.
It's awful no matter what, no matter how long it's been.
Yeah. All right, so Hot Mully takes the Album of the Year for you. So I had to write these down, and I'm going to figure these out as we talk because I don't know. I honestly don't know. So we had Blink-182's new album, One More Time, the big reunion album. We had Story of the Year's Tear Me to Pieces. I have to add that to my list because Story of the Year had 4 of the top 5 spots for top songs of 2023 on my Spotify Wrapped. So I have to add that on here. Big Mod Sun fan early this year, and he gave us his sophomore album, his sophomore pop punk album, God Save the Teen. I remember liking that album a lot when it came out, and we got to talk to Mod Sun at the beginning of this year once that album was released. Pierce the Veil. It's an album I don't think we talked about on this podcast, but I thought it was really good. The Jaws of Life. And I want to say that Pierce the Veil fans were not very impressed with this album. And I might be misspeaking here, but I feel like that's what I've read on Reddit in the past. I was never a huge Pierce the Veil fan in the past anyway, so I don't really know what to compare this album to. I did like a few of their songs in the past, but more of like what do they call that? A casual listener of Pierce the Veil. But I did like this album, The Jaws of Life. And then one album that we didn't talk about that I actually, I was trying to keep track of albums as they were coming out this year, and I put an asterisk next to Bearings' The Best Part About Being Human, which was a very strong pop punk record. And I had to re-listen to that this week as I'm trying to figure out which albums to go with. And that was another strong album from Bearings. So I think Blink-182's Album of the Year is like obvious, but man. And then Mod Sun's was good. It was a very good follow-up to his Internet Killed the Rock Star album. This is tough for me, man. Like, I don't want to give it to Blink-182 just because it's Blink-182, but they did have some strong songs. And I feel like it's obvious to give it to Blink-182, but then Story of the Year's Tear Me to Pieces was just... There was a lot of good songs on that, too. Something's telling me to give it to Story of the Year, Tear Me to Pieces, because, again, 4 of the 5 songs from my Spotify Wrapped top songs list was Story of the Year, and I think I just got to give it... I got to give it to him. I think I'm going to say Album of the Year is Story of the Year's Tear Me to Pieces. That whole album is really good. I don't think there was one song on there that I was like, eh. But then again, Blink-182's was really good too, but Blink-182's is under a microscope, and I remember being more judgmental on some things because it's Blink, and one of my favorite bands of all time. So, but I think it's just too obvious to give it to Blink-182. So I'm just going to say Story of the Years, Tear Me to Pieces is my album of the year for 2023. I like it.
I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be Blink, but yeah. I know you liked the Story of the Year record too.
Yeah, Story of the Year was really good.
I liked everything, but there's a song with a year as the title, 2005 or something like that.
Yeah, oh my God, I forgot about that. How did that one not make my top list? I forgot about that one. I'm going to go to it. Is that what it's called, 2005? I think you're right. So. Yeah, it's 2000. Yeah, it's 2005 because I can remember the rhyming and how he says it. But yeah, solid album.
2005.
Solid album. But yeah, so those are our lists. Also, real quick, albums we're most looking forward to in 2024. You got a list there?
The new Green Day. I'm interested to hear, of course. The EP from Sweet Pill. It's not it's not an album, but I mean it's a forthcoming release. I'm hoping that Joyce Manor does something in 2024 because they really didn't do anything in 2023. So that's a band that I've continued listening to.
So they're due
from 2022. I don't expect anything from Hot Mulligan, of course, because they just had a release. So
right, maybe some touring.
Also, a band called Anxious. Expect that they're going to have a record coming out this year. I look forward to that too. Their newest single was really good after the two follow-up singles from their first record weren't very good. The third single was actually really good, so I'm kind of looking forward to that also. So we'll see.
My list is, Green Day's Saviors is on there for me. I cannot wait for that album. That's probably my most highly anticipated album. I want to say that comes out on January 19th. So it comes out in a few weeks, regardless. I think that one's going to be one of my favorite Green Day albums. I think I said that last week. But Sum 41's Heaven and Hell, they've released 2 songs off of that album already, a pop punk song and a more recent Sum 41 type sound song, and both have been really good. I like those. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be their last album, double album. And then I think Pale Waves, I think they're working on a new album. I'm hoping it's going to be released in 2024. Well, I know they're working on a new album because lead singer said it's the best stuff that they've been working on to date, which I know a lot of artists say that, but I really liked their last album from 2022 called Unwanted. Such a solid record. I honestly should have given them, I can't remember who I gave the Album of the Year award to last year, but after a few weeks after that episode was released, I was like, I should have given it to Pale Waves.
Unwanted, I think I know who it was last year.
Was it Stan Atlantic?
No. It was that one that I bought you a copy of as a gift with the skateboard kind of thing on the front.
State Champs, right. Yeah. That was a solid record too, though. Dang. Okay. I don't know. Both of those albums were solid. Maybe it was like neck and neck then.
I think it was State Champs, though, if I recall correctly.
I think you're right.
I think Wonder Years was it for me last year.
Yep. Yeah, Kings of the New Age from State Champs. That was the album that I gave the top spot to. But Pale Waves Unwanted was so good. Pale Waves is one of my favorite bands.
I would suspect Happy Days might have an album this year, too. So
yeah, because when we were talking to them, they said that they had a lot of songs in the bank.
And they were recording,
And they were in the studio, so those guys are always writing, which I love. But yeah, so all right, John, I guess that'll do it for the last episode of 2023 from the All Punked Up podcast. Maybe the last episode of the All Punked Up podcast name.
As you know
it. Maybe not, though. We'll be making more announcements as we see fit, but we'll definitely let you know before pulling the trigger on that. So, guys, I want to say thank you so much for listening to our podcast this year. Again, thanks to all the supporters who support this show monetarily. Guys, that is really the best way to support this show. Again, these things aren't cheap to do. And, John and I have lives outside of this podcast and outside of this music industry thing that we do. And it's a good reason for John and I to hang out, week after week anyway. But there's a lot of time that involved in this. There's editing, there's planning, there's all this stuff, and then there's just all the other All Punked Up stuff that comes along with it. So really, to you supporters that support us week after week, thank you so much. I really can't say thanks enough. And anybody else who's interested in supporting the show, we do have a way for you to do that. There's a link in the show notes. Just click it, support the show. So for as little as $3 a month, you can help support us and keep this show going and help pay the bills, keep the lights on for this show, it really does go a long way. And it lets us know that you really believe in us and that you really like what we're putting out. I do want to say to all the supporters and any future supporters, again, the All Punked Up podcast name is going to change, but the show is pretty much going to be the same. But it's going to be a little less narrowed down. We're just going to broaden it slightly. So it's going to be the same show, so do not worry.
I refuse to change.
Yeah, we're not going to change that much, but we want to open it up a little bit more to kind of give us more ideas to be a little bit more creative too. So that's all it is. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. We hope you guys have a great holiday. I hope, I know the holidays can be tough out there for a lot of you, but just know that we love you and we appreciate you. And
stay safe.
And remember, if it's tough, if the holidays are tough for you, the holidays are just a few days long. You'll get through it.
It's nothing a little alcohol won't fix.
Oh God, John.
What? Maybe
just know
a little gummy.
A little gummy, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little meditation. Maybe a little
microdose.
Yeah. Just know you're not alone going through whatever it is that you're going through. There's a lot of people out there who are going through the same thing.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
You could
not to us, but to somebody that's close to you.
Yeah, somebody who can really help.
I have nothing to offer you.
Yeah, but really, if it is a tough time for you, reach out, get some help. The world's a better place with you in it. Trust me on that.
That's right.
Unless, of course, you're like a serial killer or like a pedophile or something. Then,
I mean, even if you've just murdered once.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that too.
Seek help.
Like, and it wasn't in self-defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
stop it. First of all, stop it.
Please stop, or get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a serial killer. Don't be a pedophile. Don't be a bad person. Everybody else, go get help.
People that hurt animals too.
Yeah, we're not into that.
No. I mean, I understand hunting. We're not anti-hunter here.
No, absolutely not.
Nobody wants to careen into a deer at 65 miles an hour because they disallowed hunting. So,
and if anybody knows that, it's us in the Midwest.
That's
Big
right.
deer problem.
Oh, we almost hit one this week. It was so.
Did you?
I have eagle eyes though, man.
Dude,
I didn't even have my brights on. I spotted it.
I'm always watching.
I should have been a pilot.
Dude, over by my house, we have the big open field now because the corn's been taken down. We were driving. I saw 11 deer out there. 11 just grazing on the corn.
No, we were on the way to Petersburg, and I spotted that motherfucker. Buck.
Did he run across the road?
No, he didn't run. He just trotted slowly across the street.
What a dickhead.
Asshole.
I'd love to turn him into some deer jerky.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to jerk that deer off. What?
What? Excuse me. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Again, have a happy holiday, and we will see you next year. That's stupid. We'll see you next year. We'll see you in 20.
Bye. We'll see you next year.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.